So in PCS, we have two things. We call we call it as process. We call it as process composer, or we call it as a process workspace. It is always important. It's always important to understand what is the difference between a process composer and a process workspace, right? So we'll try to understand and see what is the difference between them, and what is the advantage that you get between when you use a process composer or when you use a what do you say, a process workspace. I'll also show you these details in the in the PCS application as well. But before taking you there, I would like to go and give you some basic overview about the option of process composer and workspace, and what is used for what, and what kind of actions or operations can be performed by using your process composer, and what kind of actions and operations can be performed in your process workspace. We will have a clear identification or details about it. So there is a difference between there are two set of components that comes into picture in your PCS application. So we will discuss about the composer first, and then we'll come and discuss about what exactly is a workspace. So your process composer is a place where you are going to design your PCS applications. It's also referred as a design time environment. Your composer is also called as a design time environment. So this will basically give you a flexibility to develop the business process and the artifacts that are involved in this business process, like the processes, the forms, the decision models, the business objects, and you can also go ahead and define the metrics, everything from scratch. And as I mentioned earlier, your PCS application provides you a flexibility to use a quick start application that will which are available out of box, and these quick start applications will be helpful for you to go ahead and develop your applications by using a template, right? So your process composer includes these quick start applications where you can use these for developing your business process depending on a template that is available by using the quick start applications, or your process composer will also give you a flexibility to develop each and every artifact from scratch. By using this process composer, you can create, view, manage, clone, delete, or download or import and export these process applications from one environment to another environment, or take a set of action on top of these applications. And before you go ahead and deploy your process applications into the production environment, you will have a flexibility to test these PCS applications by using the process composer, and you can activate them on the test server as well, and you can also modify or do some changes to refine the approval process or workflow process that we have been defined. And as I mentioned, you can create or import a decision model. There is something called as a decision model that is coming into picture. We'll understand and see what exactly is this decision model, and we will also see what is the advantage of these decision models, and we will also get to see these decision models, how to create them, and how to integrate these decision models with your process application is what we're going to see. Yes, please go ahead, Prashant. Any questions?
Sorry, guys. I just
Yeah,
so
yeah, no worries. So using this process composer, you can move the process applications which are developed from cloud to on-premise or from one cloud environment to another cloud environment as well. That means your process composer will give you a flexibility to also interact with your on-premise applications if this on-premise guy is able to expose any REST or SOAP services. And you can create something called as spaces. This spaces is really, really important. The concept of space is really important, guys. So with the help of spaces, you can create an application or share these applications between multiple users or multiple developers who are working on the same environment of your process applications. Your composer is always considered as a design time environment, and you can these are the set of options that you get to see in your process composer, right? You have options like processes, forms, business types, decision models, integrations, indicators, insights, etc., right? So your process are the one, or this is the navigation that will basically help you to create a business process in the PCS application, right? And we have discussed that when you are trying to create a business process, your business process can also get initiated, or your business process can also get started by using a web form, right? You can create those web forms on this uh, for your PCS application by using this option of forms, which will act as a user interface to initiate a business process or to view the data that is being uh, uh, that is my bad that is being moved from one node to another node, because your the person who is trying to approve the process or who is trying to approve the request that you have raised, he need to see what is the data, or for what is the process that is being currently approved, and what kind of data is involved, so that if he feels the data is completely accurate, then he can approve the task. If the data is inaccurate, he can resubmit it for you for correcting the data and submit the task again, or he can reject the task if he is not satisfied with the data. So your forms will basically act as an interface to initiate a process or to view the data that is being exchanged between multiple nodes, right? And there's something called as business types. So business types, there are some business types which are automatically created when you create a web form, or you can also define your custom business types. These business types are nothing but these are the real world objects. Something like you wanted to capture an employee, you wanted to capture an employee address, or you wanted to capture an employee contact details, or you wanted to capture a contract or a proposal information. So you can create a business type which will help you in capturing these details, and you can assign data to these particular business types at a runtime, or you can create a business object which will specifically define the structure of this business types. Let us say when you create an employee business type, for this employee, you wanted to go ahead and capture the information of employee ID or employee first name, last name, email address. So for this employee business type, what are all the objects that are, what are all the elements that you wanted to capture, or what is the structure of this particular employee business type will be defined by your business object. So I mean, I think some of the people here are I mean, some of you guys are also worked on VBCS. So in the VBCS you have two things. One is page variables and the types that you create on a page level, flow level, or an application level, correct? So the type that you have in the VBCS will basically tell you what is the structure of the payload or what kind of elements that you're going to have in this particular type, and depending on the type you're going to create a variable, correct? In the similar way, you can relate your business objects as types in a VBCS and the business type as a variable in the VBCS application, where your business object is going to define the data structure or the structure of elements for each and every type, and depending on the business object you are going to create an employee type or an address type, etc. And these decision models are the one which will basically act as a container to perform if then actions, or to perform some conditional rules, or to perform some expressions that can be evaluated, before you basically take an action on your workflow, right? Let us say a simple example. When you're trying to apply for a leave, you need to initially understand that what is your leave balance. So without having a leave balance, you cannot go ahead and approve, you cannot go ahead and avail a leave. Right? You have different types of leaves. You have a casual leave, you have a sick leave, etc. So each and every leave has a specific set of balance available over there, correct? So that leave balance should be consumed automatically whenever you're trying to avail a leave. And before you apply for a leave, you should understand that if you are having any leave eligibility, or if you are having any uh, leaves that can be availed, that is a decision that you need to take into consideration. If you have the leaves that are available and you are taking a sick leave or a casual leave for more than 3 days, then only it should go for your approval, or else it should be auto approved. So these kind of decisions will be or can be taken or implemented by user decision model, and you can use these decision models as a part of your process applications. And whenever you develop any decision model, these these decision models can be exposed, or these decision models will be exposed as a web service. You can expose them as a web service so that these decision models can be interacted or can be used in your process applications, and this integration will be helpful for you to connect with the external REST and SOAP services, through which you can interact with your OIC integrations, Oracle and non-Oracle applications. And insights, the concept here is more or less equivalent to the integration insights that is available in your OIC environment. And this option of all will basically give you the details of all these options, to view all these options in one single go. Localization will give you a flexibility to implement the native country specific UI, because not everyone can understand English. Some might need this in Arabic, so you can implement this in localizations. And indicator will basically give you the flexibility to understand what is the step-by-step workflow involved over here. So your composer is a design time environment, and these are all the options available in your composer. Similar to your process composer, you also have something called as a process workspace. Your process workspace is the one, your process workspace is the one which will basically help you to take an action on a pending task, to view the process details, or to assign, complete, delegate, or initiate a particular task. And it will also give you a flexibility to perform some administration activities. You can also verify the tasks or business processes that are hosted on your PCS server, this by using this option of my apps. And the option of dashboard, I think this option of dashboard will not be available for all the users. I think in the new my bad, just allow me a moment. uh, this dashboard option might not be available in the new version of the OIC instance. Let me just try and verify that. Yeah, yeah, you have that over here. Yeah, this dashboard will give you the metrics of the current application in your PCs. So let's say when you say the dashboard, how many applications are completed, how many applications are still in pending status, if there are any applications that are errored out. So what are those applications? Everything can be viewed at a high level by using this dashboard. And you can also configure your runtime settings by using the administration option available over here. So your process composer is called or can be referred as a design time environment, and your process workspace is considered as a runtime environment. So if there are any pending tasks that requires your approval, you get to see those tasks in the My Task, and this is how it basically will be shown. Let me just allow me a moment. Allow me a moment to show you these details. Let me open another instance which can help you in seeing these details for you guys. Just allow me a moment. Okay, just a minute, please. Okay, I see got home and let me open my ad. I'll just show you it for a minute. Just allow me a moment, guys. I'm trying to open that application for you. Just hold on for a minute. So I would like to show both the process uh, workspace and also the composer options available over here. So in the process workspace, right, you have in the process workspace, you have these options which are available over here, right? I hope you're able to see my browser, right? Can you please confirm that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. In the process workspace, as we have discussed, you have all these options available over here, which will help you to design your application. And I'll show you these options in a minute. And likewise, in the process, sorry, my bad. This is a composer, and this is a workspace which will basically tell you what kind of options that are available for you. And if there are any pending tasks that would require your approval, you're able to see those pending tasks over here, and you're also able to see this processes and all the applications that are available on your PCS application over here, right? And your process workspace, the option of dashboard that is showing up over here is not visible because this guy is not having the specific set of roles. But if you see, there is an option of dashboard available over here because this guy has a role called as service administrator. But this instance, this login, the guy does not have an role called as service administrator. This guy is only having a role of service developer. That's the reason this dashboard is not showing up and the administration options are not showing up. But I'll walk you through all these options and show you what is available over here in one by one. And in the workspace, you have something called as a runtime environment that will basically help you to define and manage a role. If you just come over here in the administration window, if you have a process application, you can basically go ahead and add the process applications, and you can basically add some set of users over here who will be helpful for you to go ahead and take a set of actions. And you can also create a swim lanes, and you can also create a role, or you can just add a member for this particular role over here. So all these things can be performed by using your administration activities. So using your administration activities, you can go ahead and allow a flexibility for your application to give or manage the roles for different swim lanes in the process. And whenever you create a process, right, I'll explain you what exactly is swim lane. But whenever you create a business process, for each and every process, by default, there are some set of roles which are associated. But apart from that, you can also go ahead and create a new role, it's not a rule, my bad, a new role in your process application, and you can associate a specific set of users or a specific set of groups for that particular roles. And you can also add or remove the user to a swimlane role, or you can also manage a group of people who can take an action on this particular request.